Yeah, Glenn Miller, Benny Goodman, these kind of, they always use like a standard. Yeah, good ear. What key, C?
Yeah.
Thumb.
What's that?
There it is. Yeah, and I would go minor third down. So here, this brings up a really fun point. Whenever trying to grasp at a note, we're using our shelf positions, and you know your 1 through 5, your arpeggio, right, going up and down. At that point, if you move your hand over, the note that you're looking for or striving for is most likely going to be like, what note were you on? G? A?
Yeah.
Cool, so G, the note you're looking for is probably going to be like D or E, right? And then if you shift this hand over and you use, if you think, oh, we're playing the key of C, no sharps and flats. Well, if I hit E and I shift over, my note's probably going to be like G, E, D, C, A. And then that brings up, well, what are those notes in the key of C major? And when we see these stacked, right? Like, what does this remind you of? Does it remind you of a scale? Does it remind you of a chord? Can you build anything out of these?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what if you were to hear this run, like, what two notes am I avoiding?
Let me cheat over here. F and B.
Yeah, so we're missing the perfect fourth, and we're missing the lending or leading tone, our major 7. You dig? Oh, that looks like a minor. Okay. So, if we're going to skip those, I just want you to collide to. This is your major pen. Right? Pentatonic. So melody lines that we build off of just using these, I would say try to play melodically with a melody line. If you're jumping for other notes, use the pentatonic system first. Most likely those melody lines are going to be inside of there. We want to stay diatonically within the key signature. So let's do that right now. Can you flow through just our flats? What are our flats? C major has how many sharps and flats?
0.
How many sharps or flats does the key of F have?
1.
It does. And what is that flat?
B flat.
It is. And how many flats are in the key of B flat?
2.
There are. What are they?
B flat, E flat.
Wonderful. What is the fourth from E flat? Perfect.
Fourth from E flat is A flat.
Wonderful. How many minor seconds of that is? Did you say A flat?
Yeah.
Good. How many minor seconds is that?
To the 4th.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, how many minor seconds is it to a perfect fifth? The whole reason why we do the circle fifths over here.
So that would be 5, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So a fifth would be how many minor seconds?
7.
Wonderful. So now just you're adding more repertoire to your vocabulary. There are 5 minor seconds and a fourth. Cool? So when we think, oh, C, F, F, B flat, B flat, A, what comes after A flat, and what is A flat's enharmonic equivalent?
Okay, what comes after A flat, D flat?
You betcha. And then what is the same note on the register, the board?
Saying what is the same note on the board?
Yeah, enharmonically, I could say D flat is a blank blank. And here, let me just show you through the as a C, D, E, F, G. Here, there is no E sharp. E sharp is F.
Right.
F flat is E. So there has to be something in betwixt. What's in betwixt C and D?
C sharp or D flat.
You betcha. Their enharmonic
Oh,
equivalences.
got you.
Groovy. What comes up?
And then G flat or F sharp.
You betcha. And then lastly, what's our next one on the circle that shows the equivalent?
B.
Mm-hmm. And what is its?
What do you know? C. No.
Uh-huh. That's it. And it's weird. How many sharps and flats from the key C?
None.
None. How many are in C
Well,
sharp?
7.
All of them. How many are in C flat? All of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
You got it. And then let's keep going. Let's do some hypotheticals.
Okay, so E.
Yep.
And then F flat.
My handwriting's horrible. I'm sorry.
Better than mine.
Right. Keep going.
And then A.
You betcha. and then
D,
mm-hmm,
and then G.
you'll betcha. So we're gonna avoid the circle on the sharps. We generally do sharps. Let's write something in a flat.
Okay.
Don't go crazy. 1 flat, 2 flats. You want to write in the key of F or B flat? Or we could write in the key of C, and we could use the flat 7 of the chord, which means you won't be playing like a major, you'll be playing the dominant. Does all of that make sense?
That makes sense.
Wonderful. Yes, excellent. You want to try that?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Let's write our first line and see if we have enough time to write our next period. If we could do this and we could keep this having one idea. And then we can do another one down here. So let's try to make this whole phrase an idea, which revolves around the key of C. Let's use different notes. Let's try not to make it static. So how would you like to do this? Would you write the chord first and then fill in the melody later? Or would you pick notes and write a melody line based off of per se random notes or organized notes, and then we'll go over the steps that we use, like no leaps and bounds, try to move in step. Stay in the diatonic key, except for the B flat.
Sure. Good question. I almost hear melody first rather than see the key.
Well, if that's how you always hear it, then I would suggest try to do it the other way so you have a different perspective. Does that make sense?
Right.
So if most of those songs that you write or you feel and you've been doing is like you're hearing like a and then you go back for chords, that is the opposite of the process you could do. And if you're stronger at that one, try the one where you just write chords and then try to find a melody within those chords. Want to try that?
Sure.
Cool. All right. So let's write out our major. We're going to do this in A major or C major. Let's write out our harmonic movements. What do we have? We have 3 to 6. Do you remember what the 2 in the middle are? Do you remember what 2 keys are almost exactly like? And the whole reason we could have tonality go through all these, we could have this one omit this one and go right to here. We could have this one omit that and go right to here. We could have this one go to here. You could omit the 6 here. You remember any of this? They're just little recaps. So we've got the 3, the 6, and the 1. What are we missing?
What is it, like the 7?
You betcha. And the 7th is much like what? What do we call a blank dominant?
Secondary.
Yeah, and what is a secondary dominant? Which interval?
The 5th.
Absolutely. So if we have 2 notes that could go together, we would definitely have something like our 2 and the 4. Because when we play a D minor, the D minor is the relative minor of what? F major. So when we play a 5 dominant, it is much like that B, right? So I don't need to put that, but it's implied. Mm-hmm. And then our diminished chord is much like that because we're stacking our triads, the 1 extra note. This is how I view most of this, and since we're not doing that, we are playing this note. We are going to be utilizing a flat 7 here, which is our B flat. So when we have this, that actually goes a little bit more towards this end. This allows us to see a place as a space filler. You can use it as an alternate. When you alternate this, you wouldn't just alternate that, you would just keep that 5. Mm-hmm. G is still G. Right. You're just not now using, is that proper grammar? Now you are not using G7 implied with GBD and then having its minor 7th, the F. So you could charismatically still have the F sharp, but it might make the whole thing sound a little bit too happy, a little too jazzy, a little too nice. So, cool. The idea is we generally want to start on a tonic. And if we don't start on a tonic, that's fine, but that's actually a great idea.
Right.
Everywhere in between here, we don't have to keep it with 1 chord per measure. I would say maybe the next thing is like, let's pick a time signature.
Yeah, let's go 4.
You want to do 4? Common time? You got it. That's cool.
If I get too crazy.
Yes. And then, how about we try to finish on our tonic?
Okay.
Cool. So, when we pick the melodic notes, like we randomly would pick a note from the key of C, let's say F, and we would put it here on our line. We could then go and say, well, if we moved in step and went up in half step, that would make a perfect melodic movement. The idea behind this is if we're starting off on our root or our tonic, we might be able to start off on something different than that F. You don't necessarily need to play that note that's inside the key because all of the notes inside the key will fit and feel good for whatever chord you choose because they are inside the key. It might get a little weird if you're Thelonious Monk or something, you're throwing like these diatonic chords out here and there's little meshes. So let's try to start with our tonic. Let's put another chord next to the tonic. What do you think the tonic could go to? What's your first guess? Anything. That is absolutely correct. The tonic could go anywhere.
Right.
It really sets your tone. Can you play a C major? Can you play a C major with a B flat in the bass? Left hand B flat? Low tone. C, B flat 3. Hear how you're moving your tone? Start back at the C at the C3 with your C major. Nice inversion. And then go down to an A, bass hand. Just the bass hand, keep the right hand on your C. Cool? Do you hear how you're using the chord at the C major, but you're moving your bass line? Just by doing that, you've given yourself the ability to see a bass line. So you can have 2 points of reference. We've kind of touched on the idea of figured bass. We're not going to get into it because it's ridiculously weird to explain at this point. Mostly it's for analytical purposes. But what you just exhibited is writing a melody line, you could do both at once. I don't do that because it's harder for me to think two things at once. Right. I want to focus on just that. So next, let's pick somewhere to go. What are you feeling? Cool, 6 chord. So we're gonna go to the sub-medians. Groovy. Next measure. What do you think the sub-median, the 6, would want to go to?
Could go back to the 2.
Yeah. The 2 or the 4 makes a lot of sense.
But that becomes jazzy too, right?
Well,
4, yeah.
4? Sure. We can do the sub-median. The sub-dominant, sorry. And remember, you're playing full chords right now. We might be able to play 5 chords. We might be able to make them 6 chords, extended chords. It just really depends on getting through the focus of where we're going, then applying a melody line to it. Here we go. What do you think? Do you want to keep this as the sub-dominant? We could always change any of this, by the way. Cool. The next, right here or here. Now, what this means, do you see what we're lining up here? If we're in 4/4, that means that we're going to have either a half note here with a melody line into, this doesn't, not necessarily how it could be, but you're not probably going to have quarter, 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 quarter. That's a term called static. You don't want to hear that. Even if they're moving, it still feels a little static to have the whole melody line be the same note. So here we're putting 2. Maybe we just skip this second one here.
Okay.
Leave some space. That might allow us to do something like having this note tied in. So it still is worth 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we don't have to actually do a melodic movement. All right. Sub-dominant, leaving some space. Where do you think the sub-dominant wants to venture to?
Okay, so what do? We went root 6/4, right?
Mm-hmm. Root 6/4. So we followed a progression. It would make sense to go to the dominant or use the leading or leading tone. But if we're avoiding the B, maybe it's a perfect time to try out our flat 7.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okie doke. We would just call this a flat 7 here because it's outside. Its purpose is the same as, but it's now not a leading or leading tone. It has a major second resolution, which means, can you play B flat to C? T do. Yeah. Now play the diatone of BC. The dissonance of BC right next to each other. There you go. Even though it feels like a clash, a part of that, if you put it within a C, an E, and a G, can you play the full C major chord with the B next to it? Gorgeous! But that dissonance is horrible until you add the tension of the other 2 notes, which pull that B right back in. And then here, if we had our flat 7, here's the idea. You don't even have the melody yet, but you do know that you've got a strong, stable feeling because it has all the consonances. When you go to the sub-median, you're adding tension, but it is the same tone, essentially.
All right.
Yeah, because it's the...
What is that? Something.
Natural minor would be an answer. You could also say Aeolian, or you would also say it's the relative minor.
Right.
It shares the key signature. Yeah, so you're just changing the tonality from kind of light, airy, and floaty to kind of reserve standing back and looking at it from afar. That's kind of my interpretation. I don't know if you do. And then, I don't know, if you wanted to move it here, it would be a quick resolution. So like maybe something like an abrupt chord, a no chord stop, you know, and then a rest. So it adds gravitas to this measure. Who knows? Let's maybe keep this one empty for right now and give it the amount of space it could deserve.
Right.
After a B flat, it wants to go all the way through here, or it wants to resolve all the way to the 1.
Right.
What are you feeling? And here is very special, not to interject, because we could do a handful of things. We could leave it on the 6th for a deceptive cadence. It doesn't feel like it goes back to the 1, but it does have, where's our 6th? Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, 6, yeah, submit. It feels like it's not going anywhere and it feels unresolved. It's really funny for certain melodies, or cool, or interesting, or it leads into the next part.
Right.
Or we can edit on something which is called our PAC, or IPAC. The perfect authentic cadence, which is 1 to 5, and then back to 1. Can you do that? Can you play C to G, then back to C? No, that's D. Hey, G. There we go. Now back to C. Now what your ear did, and it's perfect for that, but when we have a traditional PAC, it must be in root position.
Oh, okay.
C-E-G, G-B-D, C-E-G. You got it. Right on. If you do it any other way, it's just called the imperfect. Cool? Root position, perfect. Imperfect, not that. And then the other one is the amen. It's called the plagal ending. If it's not 1 to 5, what do you think the plagal ending is? What's the most powerful chord besides the 1 and the 5 in all of the 7 notes? What draws the most pull towards it?
7? No.
Oh, what is the name of the 5th?
Oh, no, dominant.
It is. So what's the second most dominant note in this scale besides the 1 and the 5?
The 3rd, no, the 4th.
Yeah, subdominant. So our idea is if we're going to be pulling tension away, our 1, 5, 1, perfect authentic. That's our plagal ending. Amen. Hear it? Cool. So what we're talking about is having a cadence ender down here. So hypothetically, we might just go tonic, submediate, or dominant. Which one do you want?
Let's go dominant.
Cool. And can we do a dominant Dom 7? Beautiful. And then right back to the root. Awesome. I think we've got a pretty good layout here. All right. So we're gonna do our 1. We're gonna see if our 6 works. We're gonna see if our 4 is gonna knock it out of the park. We're gonna throw out our flat 7, which is already in there, and then we're gonna see if it goes out. Pop, 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 pop. And then let's see how our tonic goes from our 1, 5 dominant back to our 1. Ready? Key to C. Lay out the chords. Keep it in a measure and a tempo which makes sense. I know we haven't established this, but what is our BPM? What do you want to practice as far as like?
I don't know, go fast.
And the reason why I'm sequestering this is just to see if we have any other dynamic vocabulary, like largo, andante, marretto, vivace.
So is this a little over 60, right? We do over 70?
Yeah.
75?
Yeah, so we're pulling in between there, and the best thing to do is kind of have a metronome here. So this one, yeah, this one kind of has it. Mine are worn off. I've used this for so much, but larghetto right here, and then kind of around andante. It's 72, 80-ish. Is that about what you're thinking, or are you thinking a little slower? Cool.
Right in between something.
Okay, yeah, I would say that would probably be andante, just right underneath there. And frankly, most of the things that I write start off slow just because I want to go slow to learn them, and then I put them as fast as I can to see if the notes I chose are too complicated. Yeah, like around 180, 220, just ridiculous, or I'll change a song which is a ballad or something into bluegrass. You see how that 1, 5, 1, 5, how that feels longer. Cool. So we've got our C, A minor, F. We've got our B flat, and we've got our C, G7, and C. Cool. Throw out the beat. I'll clap it out for us. That's great. Nice. And were all those in root position? I felt like there was an inversion. No, it's fine. It's because your brain wants to do that. It's an easier way for your fingers to get there. And there isn't a right or wrong way to do any of this. There's just the approach at what am I looking at right now. If you stay in root position, it might be easier to think, oh, I'm going to write all arpeggios for this tune. 1, 3, 5, 1. You know, so if you did C on the bass, do 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 do, and then what does that do to this tune? To me, it turns it into like 1950s doo-wop. You know what I mean? Do you hear it?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Great chord. And here's the kind of chord that I love that just makes my mouth water and my brain hurt. Because I'm like, ooh, yeah, what happens if we do a common tone substitution for that? Or how about this? What is the relative minor of B minor?
Relative minor of B minor.
Yeah, go up 6. Get up a major 6. And if we're in B flat, ready? So B flat. What comes after B flat?
It's my G, right?
Yeah, G minor. C, D, E flat. 2 flats in the key. E, F, G, and then A. Squeaky, squeaky. Yeah. You can replace your B flat there for a G, or when you go for the B flat, you can have the lowest note that's inside of your structure be the G. Play the B flat with a G on the bass. You have a D flat in there. Try to put a D natural. Beautiful. Now G in the bass, left though. Isn't that a gorgeous chord? Now switch around. Play a G minor with a B flat in the bass. A G minor in the right hand. And just a B flat on the bass. Do you feel the same way you felt about the other way around?
No, that one sounds better.
I think you have your choice. If you want to do it, how do we make that look? What do you think this is?
Okay, B flat over G.
Yeah, so root note here. And this is a intro to figured bass, seeing that, but we would also write this as what, like the 7 here? You'd have your flat 7, and then you would see this as having an interval here. So G, is G a part of this? B flat, D, F? No. What is it? It's the 6th.
Yeah.
So in here you could write it as a 6. If you wanted to do a G flat, dear God, flat 6. But it might be a moving line if you're doing something like that. Who knows? Cool. We've established what feels good. Can I play the melody and can I play the chords and have you just doodle? See if you can come up with something on there. Fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again.
Oh, I'm in the wrong place.
It's okay. I'm just gonna keep going through it. Again. 3, 4, and. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Here we go from the top and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. That second time I played it differently because it would encourage us to see these two as being together. And then this having the half note. The first time I did this as the longer and then phrasing. So, or, they're both the same, or, that is more traditional Plagal. Or more traditional PAC. Cool. Let's change it into an arpeggiated thing. So we're doing like, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, tell me what you feel about that melody. How do you feel about the chords? Do you think it's a little too busy? What's your favorite chord of the whole progression? Were you tired of playing the C?
I don't know. It's like, but trying to figure out that 7 right there. Like,
Excellent.
Where I wanna.
So, rather than us, I hate saying this, rather than us writing a melody, we already kind of know. Can you play those first two notes that you had over the top of the C? What do we have there?
What was that?
Triple it. 1, 2, 3.
So it's basically the triad.
And then is that an intro to C? Are you doing it as an anacruxis?
It was an intro, so da.
And vocabulary word. Anacruxis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Pickup note.
And a banana. Okay.
And a banana. So yeah, we're gonna have. I'll just write it here. We're gonna have a triplet intro. Da 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 da. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Throw that up here and just put that right there if you already missed it though. You would actually put it through anything that you put here. We can put our first measure here, but we've already got this going. And then after we do it, what's the melody line after your triplet? You're on the what? C? And you're playing C5?
Yeah.
Cool. And you went up. So what was that? 1, 3, 5.
1, 3, 5, 6.
Name it out. Just tell me what line or space it's on the staff. I already got the first note for you.
Wait, but that's in the wrong.
You can play C arpeggio over an A minor.
I'm trying to figure out how I did it. See, I'm already behind because the chord change already happened.
There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's right on the beat. What are the notes? C, E, G.
C, A.
So watch what I'm about to do here. Your last note here is gonna carry over from the last part there. Da 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 dun 2, and then we've got triplet. So we've got rest, triplet. What kind of notes are those? What kind of notes are the triplets when we tie them together? What kind of notes have a single beam?
Single beam 8th.
Yes. So when we do this, we're going to see this as having our half, and then we're going to have an 8th note rest, and then we're going to do C. What was your upward? C, E, G, right? What was that? Da da. C, E, G, A.
C, A.
C, E, A.
Yeah.
Cool. C. Oops. Random smata. C, E, G, A. So right here, F, G, A. We're going to put this up on our line. We're going to put our stems going down because we're above the staff there. 1, 2, 3. Tie them together, and we're going to put our little triplet headbanger. Boom. Da da da. Rest. Da da da. Now we're going to fall in the F major. Where's our melody line? From the top. 1, 2. Da da. 1, 2. Da da. So you have a 2-beat rest. Here's what it looks like. You're gonna take a little top hat, fill it in. da da da, rest, da da da, rest, rest, da da.
1, 2.
What was that? Oh, that's a good another triplet. What was that? A E F. Where does that reside here? A E F. Oh, on the staff. What is that top note?
So that's the A. So
Cool.
there.
So A. What's the next note?
E.
Groovy.
Yeah.
And then where's the F on the treble clef?
On the top line.
Wonderful. Stems go on what side when you're going down?
Yeah.
Left. Excellent. And then also triplet, triplet. 1, 2, do do do.
1, 2.
That's not where the rest is. Do C E A. Rest, rest. A E F. Staccato. Beautiful. Feels right. Not legato, not long and flowing, but very short and patterned. Da, da, da. It was real quick. You could even put a little marking here of like mezzo piano. Groovy. And then it holds, right? It feels like it's holding out. So get rid of that staccato. The last note goes over to the next note that's going to fall on the B flat. So da da da. Your most important thing that you want, I don't want to draw on this, but the most important thing you want to figure out right here is from that da da da. Where's that F going into your B flat? Is there an F in the key of B flat?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's already in the chord. Yay! No alterations. And this is kind of a backdoor passive way of writing melodies on top, but we've got a melody established. Can we just jump to right here and do like a trill? Can you pick 2 notes from the key of C and go back and forth, maybe like 3 and 4? Beautiful. What's that?
So let me try 3 and 4.
Well, you do both if you want. You want to do both? E and D? So we got E and D.
Oh, right there.
Yes. So there we go. I'm gonna put these. You can put TRLL in a dot and a little underline. That does it. Or on these notes, you can put this. That has you do like a little trill on it. You could also, I think, my brain's breaking out right now. I think you do that as well, as many of them. I just put TRLL. I'm done. These are what types of notes when you're going back and forth. What type of note do you think it is? Because the whole meter here, we've got.
Oh, 16, right?
It is, but watch this. Quarters, eighth notes, 16th. But can you do 32nd notes? Cool, 16 notes. Since it's below the staff, all these go down, right? And we separate 16th notes into groupings of how many?
You can do 4, 8.
Shoots. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. This can be then repeated just for here when we change. It's just going to stay through the whole thing of your chords. I'm going to play the end plagal. Do your trills. 1, 2. Beautiful. Not the best end. I'm sorry to rush it, but I do want to use our time to do this little thing right here. Your onus for this week is to take the note of F major, F, find out how that correlates with B flat or G, so B flat major or G minor, and then use a mode or a scale, like the minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, same grouping of notes, or come up with a melody line that's utilizing something from some sort of mode. So if here you're like, oh, I'm gonna throw in an E natural. How does E natural change the key of C?
That would make it major, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't because it's a single note. It's already in the key of C.
Right.
You're altering B flat, therefore giving yourself B flat Lydian. But that had the dissonance now is the note that you're already searching for in everything else. So maybe think about the notes as there as being like all of it being a point of tonality, where you can tonicify that note and be like, oh, we tonicified the B flat, we're in a completely different sphere right here, but we're kind of close. Because we're not going away from the C, it's right here, right? I mean, reason why it's interesting, it's in there
Right.
as a minor.
Yeah.
So Can you use C minor and have here maybe like turn to a C minor right here and then do a common tone substitution and go from a C minor having like I mean, is that too abstract? You'd be leading. I mean, to me, it just feels a little weird, but you can also move that same D flat, E flat down to the bass and do a C major with an E flat there. See what that sounds like. Yeah. How about the yeah? So sometimes common tone substitution doesn't use, but it's also so. We clear what's awesome? I'm gonna take a little video of this. I'll send this to you. Try to come up with some quick, cute little line. Don't make it overcomplicated. Utilize the notes from some sort of mode or some sort of scale. And then know what those notes are and see how it could lead right back into this section without taking too much away from that. And we've used different note structures here, plus rest, so it doesn't sound boring.
Yeah.
Cool? Did you have fun today?
There's that chord right there.
Oh, yeah, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Fun. Did you have fun today?
Yes.
Excellent. That's the whole point. Right on, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aloha to you. Be well.
Yeah, we'll do it. See you next week.
Sounds good. Or sooner. Right on. Thanks for staying here for that, guys. If anybody was on the chat there. Hi, bro. Class, what are you doing here? We were melody writing, tone leading, writing. I've got a student who's been learning a little bit of music theory. Oh, no, is that backwards? Can you see it forwards or backwards? Chicali ways. Anywho, I think when the program comes out, I could flip it around. I wonder if there's a way to do that here. Anyway, I'll remember that for next time. What is this? Chemistry class? It's music theory. Yeah. Hi, Ben. What is this? It definitely is how to play melodically. It's very basic music theory. It requires that you know major scale intervals enough to, yeah, that's exactly it. Major scales enough to just pinpoint them and put them on the clef, and they'll go crazy with the chords you know. Hey, Powerbird. If you think about the notes of a key and the underlying intervals on the wheel of 7 slices each note, the modes are just counterclockwise. Yeah. Along that line, check out a concept called mirror modes. When you play a mode forwards like Ionian, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. When you play that back, you would have whole step, half step, whole step, half step, half step, whole step. So the idea is you have mirror modes. So when I'm playing, I don't think about it anymore because I've practiced these, but I'll be playing like C, G, and D, and I'll be playing like Phrygian backwards to achieve a mode and that modal sensation you get when you're doing partial modes, like going down 4 notes, jumping back up to the top. So you do like 4, 3, 1, 2, and then flat 7, 5, 6, flat 7, 7, 1. And you get to use all these different notes for different tension building processes. Anyway, I get to teach another student. I'm going to be doing ukulele right now. Everybody have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this. And if I can figure out how to turn this around, I shall. Otherwise, I'm an idiot. I'll just put the phone around the other way so you can't really see. I can't see the screen, but I didn't interact anyway. So no harm, no foul. Anyway, still new at this. Ta-da. Aloha. Bye, Powerbeard. And everyone else that's still here. Aloha.